Well, good morning, everybody. It is Saturday morning, and it is my first day off on a set of 5. So I have lots of things to do, but unfortunately, since we're all stuck at this stay-at-home order, I'm a little bit limited on where I can go and what I can do. So I thought I would do some projects around the house, and maybe I would can up some pork, and that I can use in like barbecue pulled pork. I can use in like street tacos or whatever you would use like a roasted pork in. I don't know if it's like carnitas or maybe chili verde or something like that. So I'm going to do that today, and I'm going to do some other chores around the house. So if you're bored and you're looking for something to watch, why don't you come hang out with me and we'll find some stuff to do. Did have to make a run to the grocery store today to pick up a few items, and for the first time I'm starting to see people wearing masks, and I think that's a good idea, and I really see it becoming more normalized in the next few days, especially if the government starts to recommend it, which I think is a good idea. It's one of those things where you can argue whether you think it's going to make a difference or not, but the bottom line is, if it doesn't hurt to do it, then why wouldn't you, right? And on the other hand, in relation to COVID, there may come a time very soon here where I'm not going to want to go to the grocery store at all. And it is nice to kind of have some stocked up items. And having some good canned meat is going to be a good option. Well, it looks like I got about 6 jars. So I can tell right now that there's 2 things that I would do differently. I've never canned or tried to can pork before. And the first thing I would do differently is I would not use a shoulder roast. It's just way too fatty. And I probably would use like a tenderloin roast. The second thing is I probably would consider doing a hot pack method where the meat is cooked first before you put it into the jars. You can see why you wipe the jars down. See that little fat and meat residue? That can interfere with your seal. But using a hot pack method where you cook the meat first would also eliminate some of this fat. So I'm not going to put any water in here because with all the fat there is going to be plenty of juice, and I'm a little bit concerned that this is going to be too fatty, and I'm not sure how this is going to turn out. I tried to trim the big chunks of fat off, but pork is so fatty, especially the shoulder roast, that it's just going to be impossible to trim it all super, super well. Alright, well, I'm letting my water heat up, and as soon as that gets ready to go, I'm going to move on to the next step and throw these in the canner. Last summer, Em and I stopped at kind of a small tourist town, and we went into one of the local stores, and I found this hydroponic cilantro grow kit. And I thought, well, that might be kind of fun. Cilantro is always good in Mexican dishes or avocado or whatever. And I never used it, so I thought, today I'm planting some starts for the garden, and I thought maybe it would be a good day to crack this open and take a look at it and maybe start some cilantro. Oh, it's a little screen. Apparently it wicks the water up into the screen here. Activated carbon. That must be my little seed pod. I'm listening for my canner to start steaming. I got the pork chopped up, stuck in the jars, and put the jars in the canner. Grow medium. Oh, interesting. What is that? plant food, and directions, and seed. Huh, interesting. And meanwhile, we're working on this hydroponic grow for the cilantro, and that little pod was actually like coconut fiber rather than like peat moss. I put that little netted pot in there, and you can see it has these little cloth things that soak up the water. So now I have to put carbon on there, which is a little different. I'm not sure why, but that's what they say to do, so that's what we're going to do. So just to sprinkle it over. Whoops. I'm supposed to use the whole thing? Must be for alkalinity or something, maybe. And then we gotta sprinkle the seeds on there. We might have to turn our heat down in our canner here pretty soon. Seems like a lot of seeds for such a small area, but maybe I wasn't supposed to put them all in there at once. Oh well. I have more cilantro seeds. I'm supposed to push them down under a little bit. Well, I guess that this is as good of a time as any to say, hey, if you're watching this video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. There'll be more videos like this in the future. And besides, you have to wait and find out if these actually grow, right? But as soon as we get done canning that park, when I don't have to look at the canner the whole time, we're going to get outside and get some stuff done out there. But it's 1 o'clock and I am hungry, so I think it's time for lunch. Looks like our canner is right where we're supposed to be. It's supposed to be at 11. I'm at 12. I kind of always like to go one degree higher or 1% higher, just because if you go below the recommended temperature, you have to start your time all over. So I figure if I go a little bit higher, if it dips down when you're trying to find that sweet spot, then I'm still in the golden zone. So I've just got my wheat bread that I just made. I made a batch last night. Throw on some butter that I canned the last time, and we're going to fry this up in the pan like grilled cheese, and then we're going to add our ham and cheese. Should be yummy. Ouch, that's hot. Well, this is the perfect time of year to collect wildflower seeds. One of the things that I'm doing on my home property is trying to increase the amount of native plants and native flowers that I have growing in my wild areas. And one way that I get seed to do that is to go out to wildlife areas that are managed for wildlife and collect seed in the spring. The particular place that I'm going today was seeded, gosh, maybe 6-7 years ago. And so it's pretty well established for what its needs are. And I am a member of a club that owns the land, so I'm going to go out and I'm just going to hand pick some seeds off of the wildflowers, and then I should be able to plant them this summer in my native gardens to perpetuate more native species and species that are beneficial to pollinators and other wildlife. So then after we do that, I think we're gonna run over and see if there are any good pallets available. I'm not really sure what I need wood for right now, but you know, they throw them out and have to pay to have them haul them away if people don't take them. So if there's something good there that I would want, it won't last forever. So I'll just check it out. And besides, I've been going crazy in the house, so I just need to get out and drive a little bit. Well, this one's got some nice 2x4s on it. And the other thing I look for is, sounds silly, but there's only 2 nails in each of these boards. So that means some of these are broke, but that means I have a better chance of getting these off in one piece instead of having them splinter. But either way, the 2x4s are good. I can probably use those for something. I think I'll grab that one. That one's pretty junky. I think I'll pass on that. This one's got some decent 1-bys on it. Yeah, I think I'll throw that one in there. You really get some nice, thick, laminated wood. Not too bad for nails. I think I can use a real heavy board like that for something, and these blocks always make good firewood if nothing else, so I think I'll grab this one too. Well, that was a decent haul. They also have these boards a lot, which they're kind of nice. I mean, they're not something I'd want out in the weather, but I think what they may do is I may make doors on my shelves in the tool shed. Either way, it's a decent board for something, so they're nice to pick up for free. I mean, you can't go wrong, right? Worst comes to worst, I'll burn it. So this is that spot that I pick wildflower seeds, and as you can see, this is some tall grass prairie. I am almost 6 feet tall, and it's probably all of 6 feet. But this here is called turkey foot, and it's pretty prevalent tall grass prairie grass. But what we are looking for is more of the flower seeds like this. And if I look at these seeds here, these look like wild bergamot, but it looks like the seed pods are empty already, so I might be out of luck there. But there's one way to tell if that's bergamot. It's the smell test, is the smell test. And boy, does that smell good. But those ones are empty, so we're gonna keep on walking and see what we can find. I'm afraid most of these are probably already going to have been released from the seed pod, but we'll see. There might be some things. We can always collect the grass seed if we wanted. What is this? This reminds me of, it might be Coreopsis, which is kind of like a black-eyed Susan, but without the black eye, kind of like a sunflower type. What this one is, that's a little different, so I think we'll grab some of that and see. Interesting. Here's another different one, and I know what the name of this one is, and I can't think of it. It's it comes in like blues, and wish I could remember the name of it. Is it something like a prairie clover or something like that? So I didn't do super well. I actually kind of am getting cold, so I'm gonna go back to the truck. But I got a few seeds. They're kind of clumped up right now, but when I get home and spread them apart, there's gonna be more seed than there actually looks like in the bag. And really, it only takes one seed to make a plant. So if I can get one to grow, then I can propagate off of that one and reseed off of that one. Whenever I leave the house, River waits for me. Oh, I don't know if you can see him, but he saw me. He was laying in the driveway waiting for me. Sometimes when I go up to the land for a few days, it's kind of hard on him. My daughter says he doesn't want to come in the house and he just waits in the driveway for me. It's kind of sad, actually. Gotta love them dogs. I got all the sandbags out of the van. Well, the squirrels normally nest up in there, so let's see what we got going. Yeah, see all that grass up in there? I guarantee there is a squirrel nest up in there. And that's probably the squirrel that we've been feeding all winter. So I have nobody to blame but myself. Should be using these sandbags to work out since all the gyms are closed. I should probably take a look at how things fared over the winter. This is my old junky mower. I've had this thing for 20 years probably, and it looks like I got a flat tire in the back. I need to adjust that. This is always like that. It's been like that for years, but you know what? The son of a gun, it runs and I can't kill it, and it runs better than my expensive mower. And my old junky boat. What do we got going here? That tire is always coming off the rim. I'm probably just gonna have to bring that in and get that fixed once and for all. So I need to come down here, jack that up, get that tire off, bring that into a, like Fleet Farm or something to get the bead. That tire looks pretty good. All right. What else we got going here? So I have these extra dog kennel panels, and I was thinking, you know, if I did some sort of garden up at the land, I wonder if I could use this to fence them in, or if I should maybe just bring these up there to put River in if I go out kayaking or something and it's too hot in the van. I could put him in there. He would hate that, but I don't know. It's a thought. Good morning, everyone. It rained really hard last night, and I've got some pretty big puddles out in the front of the yard. But now it looks like the sun is going to come out, and we're going to have some blue sky today. So I think it's going to be a good opportunity to get out in the woods, and maybe we'll take the dog up and see if we can find some shed antlers. First thing I'm going to do this morning, though, I go ahead and can up some chicken thighs into quart jars. I like to do this because I use them in my homemade chicken noodle soup, and it is so easy to come home from work and chop up some vegetables, throw them in the pot with some water, broth, bouillon, and then throw in my chicken thighs that are already pre-cooked and ready to go. The only thing I do is take the bone out and throw it all in the pot, and within, you know, a half hour, I've got some good, healthy, homemade chicken noodle soup. Gotta keep the kitchen clean. Gotta keep yourself clean, especially when working with chicken. I just took my cans out of the canner, and I am down to 3 jars now because I had one break in the canner, which is the first time I have ever had a jar break in the canner. So the bottom basically popped out of it. So I lost one of the jars, but as you can see, my liquid is just about perfect. Well, River and I are going to head out to a spot to look for some antlers today. You may have seen last spring when I came to the same spot looking for sheds, and I didn't find anything then, but it's a decent spot where the deer yard up in the winter. I think there's a pretty decent chance we might find something. You can see there's a deer trail there. You can see the path, and I don't know if there's anything on the... So anyway, that brings me to this rock pile. So this area would have been all farmed probably in the 20s and 30s and 40s, maybe even up into the 50s. You can see these rocks have been here a long time, that the lichen has grown over on them. Strand of old barbed wire. An old toolbox in there. But not much else of interest. So back in the day there would have been no trees here because this would have originally been probably prairie and transition zone, but they would have cut all the trees out to farm. Except for that tree right there is pretty old, so let's go take a look at that and see if maybe that's been around for a while. It looks like an old oak tree. What is that? Oh, weird. That is a weird looking... Wow, that is the weirdest mushroom I have seen. It looks like a puffball because it's got the spores, but it does not grow. I've never seen a puffball with a base like that, but that's what the spores look like. So I don't know what that is. Man, that is weird though. Check that out. Huh. Oh, don't breathe those in. You're going to get in your lungs. Huh. Well, there's another one. They look like they were old puffballs, but the puffballs that I'm used to seeing don't have like a stalk like that. So that's pretty bizarre. Pretty bizarre. There's some rocks piled up around this tree. That tells me that this tree has probably been here for a very long time and that they just farmed around it. Wonder why they didn't get rid of it. It's an oldie though. It's probably a couple 100-year-old oak tree. That looks like River's on something over here. We're supposed to be looking for antlers, but I don't know what he's doing. What in the heck? It looks like somebody... What in the heck? Get out of there, Fui. Hey, come on, get out of there. It's almost like somebody was grooming their dog and cleaned their yard and dumped it out here, but there's no way anybody would haul it way out here to dump it. Well, that looks like a spot where something died. That fur, that's coyote fur. That's coyote fur. Or maybe just a coyote died here and everything's been eaten on it. I don't see any bones though. This is just the hide. I don't know. Come on, Ribby, let's go. Seek antler. Fetch up those antler toys. Well, no antlers yet. There's an eagle. I'm sure he's going to fly to the nest over there. That's where we're headed next. You see it in the tree up there. Got a couple geese on the water. But thought I saw some metal over here. Those mallards are really wanting to land in the water. We scared them up when we came through. Yeah, I can see an eagle sitting in the nest from here. We'll go see if we can get a better look at him. But I thought I saw metal over here, so I wanted to check this out. Oh, a couple of, I don't know if that was a bufflehead or a goldeneye. Might be an old homestead up in here. Maybe, maybe, maybe. And what is this old thing? Well, what do you guys think? Is it part of a car? There's the key, like an ignition. Oh, sure it is. That's what it is. It's part of like an old, it's the cowl for an old Model A or T or whatever they were. So that would be where the steering wheel shaft went and the ignition. Oh, for funny, I didn't even know they had keys for them. Interesting. I wonder where the rest of it is. Well, there's part of it, it looks like. See how big these trees are? Part of it's because they're by the water, they're willows, but this is actually, I think, an ash tree. So I'm thinking we're not too far from a homestead site. I would guess maybe we'll look up on that hill maybe. Oh, what do we got here? It's pretty heavy and pretty buried. Some farm machinery. Those geese are not happy with River over there. Oh, oh. Some kind of farm tool or machinery. Well, look at this. Too bad I can't get this out of here. I could really use this up at the land for deer fencing around my gardens. Man, I don't know how I would ever get it out of here though. And they're heavy besides. Or look at this. Piles and piles of barbed wire. Careful, River, careful. That's some pretty old stuff there. Lots and lots of coils of it. Wonder what that was, part of a duck blind or something? Obviously man-made. Got the boards and nails in it. Or was it a deer stand? Who knows? A lot of times when I'm looking for old homesteads, one thing I'll do is try to find the biggest tree in the area. So just looking and then kind of go from there. So looking around, there's that great big dead one right there. That thing was huge when it was still standing. And that's a pretty good size tree there with a 3-pronger. But a couple things of note. I think that might be elm right there that's dying. Might be a place to look for morels come spring. All right, let's poke around here a little bit more. I don't know what this was. Looks like some crow feathers. Oh, walked right by this, I didn't even see it. What in the heck do you think this was for? I mean, it's barbed wire, could have been a clothes hanger, but it's kind of a neat little iron thing there. Huh. Well, look at this. This is interesting. Could just be coincidence, but that is pretty flat and smooth for coincidence. So, what do you think it is? How far does it go? Oh my gosh. And there's barbed wire under here too. And it's right next to a stand of lilacs, so this would be in a yard. You don't think it's a grave, do you? It's kind of irregular for a grave, but... Or was it like a step for something? Yeah, see, there's some more right here. Definitely not random. Interesting. Huh, interesting. Well, definitely I don't think that's coincidence that there's the flat stones like that, so I don't know where it led to or what the purpose was. Well, I don't know if you can tell, but the river's kind of standing in a hole here. I don't know if that's an old cellar hole or what. There's too much rock, I can't really. Or an old privy hole, maybe. The ground is pretty soft in here. Huh. That was something. That's not natural, that's for sure. All right, well, let's go head back to the eagle nest and see if there's anything interesting around there. Came over to look at this tree, and it's actually not an American elm, it's a Chinese elm. But when I came over and looked, I saw some interesting things. Interesting to some people, probably not interesting to most. It's a piece of bone, but I saw this glass and this, what is it? Oh, it's just part of a axle or a U-joint. That's not so interesting. Alright, well, that was anticlimactic. Well, found another old homestead junk pile. Didn't know where this one was before. Oh, that's kind of cool. It's kind of cute. It's an old milk can. All rotted through, of course, but it's always kind of fun to try to find something to age the site. Part of an old cooktop, or a cooktop maybe, stove. Sure. Old wood stove for cooking. There's a lot of junk down there. That's kind of where I want to get to. Take a look at what's down there. Huh. Well, River, what do you think? Should we venture down there? Oh, there's part of an old car, too. Alright, I gotta go check this out. Alright, what do we got here? What kind of treasures are there? Most of it's frozen still. I want to go see this old car. Maybe there's an old license plate on it. What do you think, 40s era? By that grill. What do you guys think? Comment down below if you got any idea. Maybe I can get a better angle on it. River says he's done looking at junk. He wants to go see the eagle and then go to the car. There's the big eagle nest. I don't see any bald eagles in there though. Or if I just can't see from here, or if they flew away. Well, let's go see if there's anything fun underneath the nest. It's always fun to see what kind of treasures they leave behind after feeding their young. Wow, it's really opened up in here. You can see there's a little baby beaver lodge right against the bank there. And they've been pretty busy in here. Careful for the punji stakes. They've been pretty busy in here clearing the hillside out. Last year when I was here, I could barely walk through here. It was so thick. That does not bode well for the beaver to build a lodge underneath an eagle's nest. Oh, there, did you see it right there? Gosh, he startled me. Or if you can, I should have ran down there. You could probably saw him going into the lodge. And I'm just looking down at the ground for scraps from the eagles and turtle shell. But what's really interesting is this fish jaw. See the teeth on there? That's a game fish, and a pretty decent sized one. So if that's the jaw of it, there's only a couple fish that I can think of around here that would have teeth like that, and that would be like walleye or northern. But that jaw doesn't quite seem right for northern. It could be a northern, I guess, but it's pretty hard to tell definitively. So that makes me wonder, is there fish in this lake? It's just this prairie pothole in the middle of nowhere. But now I'm really curious what is living in this thing. Well, I think this is going to solve the mystery of that other mushroom. This for sure is a puffball. Let's see what the base looks like. Yeah, see, this is the base I'm normally used to seeing. Like nothing. So now I'm really, but that's definitely what the other one looked like. As far as with the spores, at least. A couple of swans out there in the water. What do you think they were doing with the ice? Do you think they were breaking the ice up to make more water, to get deeper? Boy, that's bizarre. I've never seen that before. Huh. Sure what it looks like. What do we got there? Great blue heron. Flying. It's kind of early for him. Some sort of heron anyway. Oh, look at all, I just noticed that. Look at all the nests in the trees in the backwater there. This must be a rookery for... Oh yeah, actually there's herons in there. They're not great blues though, they're just some sort of other herons. See, that one is going to land in one of the nests. They're full of herons already, which tells me that there's a lot of fish in this little slough. Wow, this is getting interesting. You realize I just detailed the car like a week ago, right? I'm pretty sure that's why you're doing this. Well, that's good. Except for we have a problem. We got to get all this grass out of here. I don't know if there's a mouse nest in there or what, but I think we're gonna have to bring that up to the garage and do some work on it. And I need to change the oil, and I need to take the deck off, and I need to put new blades on it this year. So I think what I will do is I'll run up and get the air pump and get that tire pumped up. That's pretty low. And as you can see, I got the tire off of the trailer for once and for all. I'm just going to bring that in and see if they can put like a new bead glue or something on there. Hopefully this one starts. River Dog loves wing night. Well, everyone, thanks for watching the video and thanks for coming along. Again, thanks for tuning in, and we will see you soon.